Thanks for waking up with us.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Stand Focused for Jesus. Hope each and every one of you are having a blessed day in the Lord Jesus Christ as always. Today is Sunday, April 24th, 2022. Sunday, April 24th, 2022. I mentioned doing this video in, I think it's the last video. And it's one that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I got sidetracked on it. And so I want to go ahead and get it out here. Before I get sidetracked on it again, I know it's one the Lord wants me to speak on because it's still been on my heart. You know, sometimes you'll come across something or you have an idea for a video or a message or something like that, and you'll forget. And you'll forget and it won't come back. But this is something that has stuck with me. And it's dealing with light and darkness. It's dealing with light and darkness. Now we know what the word tells us, how they put good for evil, evil for good, light for dark, and dark for light. But I want to go deeper with that. When the Lord God Almighty is telling us that they are putting dark for light, we read it, but do we really understand it? And once you see what you're going to see spiritually and physically, I believe and I know it's going to give you a deeper understanding about how deceptive the devil is. How deceptive people can be. I don't know why. I do know why, but y'all know what I'm saying. When people think about evil, they mostly think about stuff they've seen in movies. Somebody, let's say, going off and killing somebody just randomly. They think about stuff like that. For the average person, when they think about evil, they think about something, crazy, whatnot. Probably something that they're afraid of when they think about evil, or something that's happened they have heard about. But they don't think about the evils of healthcare. Let's say that, for example. They don't think about the deception that goes on in healthcare, in the healthcare industry. They don't think about evil when it comes to something like fornication, having children out of wedlock. Oh no, that's, hey, this is what we do. They had a child, we're gonna do what we do or whatever. They pride themselves in that. They pride themselves in these different things, not seeing it as evil. They're not seeing how evil it is when somebody is presenting something one way when it's really not that. Oh, it's not that serious when so-and-so is preaching false doctrine, unless it's you. Oh, they're black, so we should continue to support them because, hey, the other nations are coming against us. But when it's you, you're the problem. Everybody else, they're not the problem. It doesn't matter if their doctrine is off. Your doctrine is solid, but hey, you're the problem because you're calling out everybody else. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore, listen to this last part. If therefore the light that is in thee be what? Be darkness, how great is that darkness? I was like, what? I read the scripture so many times. I was like, what? Because I knew there was something deeper to it. When I'm talking about something deeper, I'm saying, how deep do you want to go? How deep do you want to be rooted in Christ, in his knowledge and wisdom and understanding? Because the deeper you're rooted, that means you've grown in a certain doctrine. You've grown in a certain teaching. You're solid. You're more solid in it to be able to speak it, bringing forth that fruit. I want to be grounded. I want to go deep with the roots of this and understand deeper, not just on the surface level. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, so darkness can be light. Yes. Woe to them that put good for evil, evil for good, light for dark, and dark for light. They're putting it that way. And they found a way to manipulate the darkness that is within them and the darkness that's around and present it as if it is light. How deep do you want to go? Let me also add this. I guess I'll go down here. The light of the body is the eye. The light of the body is the eye. We filter things through our eye, right? We filter what? Light through our eye. And then, so you have refraction and stuff like that. And then it's really flipped. It's really flipped, and the lens on your eye is really flipped. And then when it filters in, it's flipped back the right way. I didn't have it up, but y'all know how we do. Let's get a representation so we can see what's going on. Eyeball anatomy. Let's go eyeball anatomy and see what it shows us. All right. Let's go. We'll go to this one. Let me bring this up. Let me open this in a new tab. So I can close this out and let me enlarge this. And we'll break some of this down. We've done this before, but it's been a while. And you can also break some of these names down because they tell you a lot of stuff. Notice that the eyeball is shaped like a what? Round, like the earth, right? You have this outside layer and everything, just like the earth. You have your iris. Open the iris for my Stargate fans. Open the iris, because you let something through. Something comes in and comes out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Now it doesn't necessarily come back out the eye, but you filter it and it come back out your mouth. We know everything's connected. You have your lens, you have your pupil, which is very, very interesting. We are pupils of Christ. Remember we talked about that in the previous sermon. Pupil. Apple. Because your eyes focus on something, right? You have these different parts and everything. And then, when the image comes in, your brain, it flips to the image. This is what the camera is based off. The camera is based off of your eye. This is all dealing with your nervous system, right? We know the nervous system from our previous video connects with the endocrine glands and stuff, endocrine system dealing with the reproductive system. Why? What point am I making? Well, you see something. You see a woman, you see a man. You're attracted to them. You see them with your physical eye. The problem is people focus on that and they don't discern a person's spirit. You should be able to discern a person's spirit. But you see somebody with your physical eye, what do you want to do with them? Let's be real. You want to mate with them. You want to mate with them. But you can't just be mating with people and having sex with people simply because of looks, which is what's happening. They put the physical. Now, let me see if I can get a better image. Let me see. Eyeball, black hole. All right, we go over here. Let me jump back real fast. Let me see something. I've spoke about this stuff. I just want to go over it a little bit. It says eyes are black holes. Iris of the eye is actually a ring of stars surrounding the area around an enormous invisible black hole that is around 100 million times the mass of the sun. Now, your eye, because God works on patterns, you just have to be able to see the patterns. We'll go right here. Even though it doesn't look like this for real, because you know this isn't that color for real, Okay, let's find a regular looking eye. Let's see. Let's we'll do this one right here. This one. Now you see you have this part right here. Right here. It's like a black hole. It's like a black hole. In fact, it is a black hole. And it sucks everything in. It literally sucks everything in, and then it processes it. Alright. So when we go back here, he talks about the light of the body is the eye. All you gotta do is close your eyes. Close your eyes right now. What happens? You can't see everything. Now you can feel, if you're watching the video right now and there's light right now around you, you can feel it. You can sense it. But you can't see like you can see when you open your eyes. I just open my eyes. There's a flashlight in front of me. My eyes are processing all that, sending it to my brain and everything else. Now, oh, that's a flashlight. That's a railroad nail. Why do I have a railroad nail? Because it reminds me of the nails that Christ was crucified with. And so I keep one of those right in front of me, serving as a remembrance. But I wouldn't know that if I didn't know what it was. There are some tape dispensers right in front of me. I can look at it and process it and say, hey, there's no tape on it, so it's just a tape dispenser. I need to buy some tape. It can go on and on and on and on and on. Because the light of the body is the eye. I can process these colors and what makes up what's in front of me and around me. Having the wisdom, the knowledge of wisdom and understanding to discern that, hey, this is a flashlight, that's a nail, a gigantic railroad nail, and that's a tape dispenser. Therefore, when thine eye is single, thy whole body also is full of light. But when thine eye is evil, thy body also is full of darkness. Take heed, therefore, the light which is in thee be not darkness. What do you say? Take heed, therefore, that the light which is in thee be not what? Be not darkness. So darkness can be light, and darkness is a form of light, but it's not the true light. If thy whole body therefore be full of light, the true light, having no part dark, this form of a light which is really darkness, the whole shall be full of light, as when the bright shining of a candle doth give thee light. And we know the other scripture where Christ talked about that, the candle being in us, and it, being set, a city set on the hill cannot be hid, just like a candle set on the candlestick cannot be hid. It's put up there to give light to the whole house, meaning that no darkness can hide. No darkness can hide. So we got that. Let me go ahead and close this out. And then we read the same scripture where it talks about the light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when thine eye is single, what we want to focus on is this word single. Single, so we can get a better understanding. And we just simply go down And let me see if I already got it up. I think I already got it up. I want to make sure. Single G573. Right. You got it right there. G573. It tells you single. Right. Simple. Single, whole, good, fulfilling. It's office or sound. Now, if we go back to the scriptures, let's go to this one. If therefore thine eye be what? Simple, meaning that you're not being deceived by what you're seeing. If it be whole, if your eye be good, fulfilling its office, meaning your eye serves a purpose, like your hand, your ears, your eyes, they serve purposes. Being used the way it's supposed to be used. If your eye be sound, what are your eyes connected to? I'm getting ahead of myself. If your eye be sound, right, what are your eyes connected to? Why am I making that point? Well, you already know, are the eyes connected to the brain? Yes. Your eyes are connected to your brain. If thine eye be single, if it be sound, right? If therefore thine eye be sound, thy whole what? Body shall be full of light. Why? Because the eyes are connected to the brain. The brain is in the head. Who is the head? Christ. He's the one that, opens the, what we call the pineal gland and everything. That reacts to what? Light. That's why he said that if the eye be single, be sound, then the whole body. Because Christ is the what? The head. And we are the body. So then therefore, we will be full of light. Come on. Oh, snap. I'm finna turn up. Y'all know I get excited about this stuff right here. I get excited when the Spirit be speaking. I don't know about you. They ain't gonna break it down to you like this. That's why I be saying that. They're not gonna tell you these things. They ain't gonna break it down to you like this. I wonder why. Who told you this right here? Nobody. They don't want you to know these things. They don't want you to think about these things, do they? If they in the word like this, why they don't know these things? They so anointed though. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Again, if the eye, because the eye's gonna take in everything, right? Boom, 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 boom. They're gonna get processed through the brain. I know that's a flashlight. I know that's a set of wrenches. I know that's a tape dispenser that doesn't have any tape on it. I'm not gonna pick it up and be like, I can't take this package. That's not a sound mind. I know if a woman is in the grocery store and she got on yoga pants and got booty slanging everywhere, that I need to get away from her. Because I know, I'm discerning what she is doing. She's a temptress in the trap. Connected to the brain. Now, if what they're bringing in, what happens is the truth comes in. It comes in, right? Let's go back over here. The truth comes in, the word. It comes in. And then their brain processes it. And then they make it evil. They make it evil and they pervert it the way that they wanted to pervert it. Because in the Holy of Holies, they have idols. They have devils. They have demons. And therefore, their whole body is dark. But they're thinking that they're in the light. They're thinking, oh, I'm woke. When they're really in darkness. Which is why he tells us But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. The whole body. Why? Because of the brain. The brain is dark, still dark. The wisdom they have coming in through the pineal gland being awakened and everything is not true knowledge. It's a manipulation of the truth. They think they're woke, but they're not woke. And the light they're receiving, just like Luciferians, Freemasons, everything, you go ask them what do they want. They say they want more light. They want knowledge and wisdom, but they want knowledge and wisdom without Christ, without the true Christ. Now they have their Christ. Lucifer is their light, not the Lord God Almighty, not the Lord Jesus Christ. The Kundalini spirit, the Kundalini energy is their Holy Spirit, not the true Holy Spirit. Their light leads to death upon death. The light that we have, it leads to life upon life. Why? Because Christ is our head. He is the one that's opening up. Remember the pineal gland with the pine cone? He is the one inserting it, the key, and unlocking it. Because he's the door. He's the door. And then we come down and it goes throughout the body, and then we speak it through our voice. In the heart, the Holy of Holies. Which is why you have 4 chambers of the heart. Go get that real fast. 4 chambers of the heart. You even have 4 chambers of the brain, which is interesting. You got 4 chambers of the brain also. Like you got the 4 creatures protecting the throne, right? I ain't gonna tell you all this. 4 chambers of the heart. On each side of the wall, there's a small collecting chamber called an atrium, which leads into a large pumping chamber called the ventricle. There are 4 chambers. They say the upper room. I want to get this real fast, but let me copy that, and we're going to go over to the images. You got 4 chambers of the heart. Because you have the 4 beasts surrounding the throne. Night and day, holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. In and holy, holy, because the vial opens up. Open, close, holy, holy. And in the heart, in the center of it, is the Holy of Holies. Is the Holy of Holies. Right? Let me see if I can find an image. Okay, I can't find what I'm looking for, but y'all get the point. I want to jump over here real fast. I just want to see what this word means. So I don't know. I don't know like that. Let's see. It's the what? The central court, or first main room, and it says of an ancient Roman house, room which contains the hearth. Then it comes from the word fire. What the book of John tell us? That Christ is the what? The light, the life of all men that cometh into the world. Place where smoke from the hearth escapes. What happened in the Holy of Holies? You had the sacrifices. Well, you know, the sacrifices, but I was more so wanting to say the incense and stuff like that. The smoke in the Holy of Holies. Being burnt, burnt and going up to the Lord. There you have it. There you have it. Now, we got that. Let me jump back over here. And we were looking at the word single. Because he told us, if therefore thine eye be single, if thy eye be what? Sound. Which is why he says, have a sound mind. Now it tells you it's a combination of 2 words. This one right here as a particle of union, and the base, which is this. So you have this word that binds it or unites it with this word. All right, we go look at this word, and what does it tell you? Alpha. Alpha. And then you have this word, which is to plait, braid, weave together. All right, now let's make sense of it. If therefore thine eye be single, be sound, the Bible tells us to have a sound mind of who? Of Christ, because he is our head. If therefore thine eye be focused on the Alpha and the Omega, focus on Christ, then he will what? He will join you. He will plait you. He will braid you. He will join you to himself, which is why the whole body shall be full of light. You will be joined to him. You will be braided together with him being your head, and therefore your whole body shall be full of light, full of the gospel, full of his love. Powerful stuff, huh? Let's go back to it. Again, the other part, the base of it is what? To plait, braid, weave together. Which on the surface, you're like, okay, single, most people don't think about single like that. But when something is single, if I pull out a single hair, that hair has many strands that make it that single hair. And yet, you could take that single hair and look at my beard as a whole, and my beard is stronger together with all the hairs together. But again, what is the root of it? Alpha. And that's the word for what? Single. Again, alpha, and then the word plait. If therefore thine eye be focused on Christ, focus on Christ and join together with him in what he's teaching you through his spirit, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness, because if your body is full of darkness, that means your brain is full of darkness. If your brain is full of darkness, that means that your eye is not focused on Christ, it's focused on everything and everybody else. Focus on ultimately the devil. Right? And then just so we can see it, I got some scriptures up also, but I want to look at the word so y'all can see it and I can see it for myself. To fold something, gather in pleats, double and narrow strips, also to braid or weave. And the root of it is this word, which is again to fold. To fold. It gives an example of a turban, braid, wind, twine, twisted, to lay, fold, twist, right? It's like, we have braids. You braid your hair and everything. So God will do what? He will bring you back into the fold. Let me see if I can get that Bible verse. Sheep fold. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheep fold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is a shepherd of the sheep. You see that? He's at the door. What do we say? You say the eyes are the gateway, or the door to the soul. Christ is at the door, because the eyes, if they're single, Christ is the head, and the eyes are connected to the brain. So if you're focused on him as your shepherd, he's at the door, then you're in the fold. Right? Now, we got that. Let me see. Okay, we got that. Then we want to go over here to the scriptures. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. How can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken. That's why you also have Father, Son, Holy Spirit. A threefold cord. 3 witnesses. In the mouth of 2 or more witnesses shall every word be established. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. 1, 2, 3. Answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. Excuse me. Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the what? In the bond of peace. Now, we're going to go over here. And we got this video right here. I've been sitting on this video for some years because it was just fascinating to me. Now, this guy isn't talking about anything dealing with the Bible. He's doing science experiments. He does some pretty cool stuff. It was done April 28th, 2018. Over 11 million views. Can light be black? Mind-blowing dark light experiments. It's there. It's there. But do we want to see it? Now, let me turn the volume up just a little bit. And let's get to it.
Okay, everyone. Today I'm going to be testing if light can be black. So in order to understand this experiment today, you're going to have to let go of all of your preconceived notions about color. So the first thing you need to understand about color is that color is not a physical property. Color is only something that goes on up here. There may be certain wavelengths of light that correspond to a certain color that we recognize, but color in and of itself is not a physical property. And this is the reason why when I see this dress,
It's not a physical property in the sense of everything is first and foremost spiritual. But we know that it's manifested in this physical realm. You go look at the grass, you know the grass is green. Or most people should be able to see and know the grass is green, right? But some of you remember this dress. It's how the brain perceives it, and that deals with what we were talking about in the other sermons. The maker of the dress came out and said what color the dress is. Some people see the dress as what they saw it as white or whatnot. This dress is blue and black. This dress is blue and black. And then you can even go look it up. What we call so-called white people, they perceive colors differently than black people. You can go look that up. Now, what color does he see the dress as?
I say for sure this is a gold and white dress.
Exactly. He said it's gold and white. This dress is not gold and white. Some of you saying, yes, it is. The dress is black and blue. And you can go look it up. The maker of the dress came out and said that, yes, the dress is black and blue. Those are the colors that I chose. But yet he perceived it as gold and white. He perceived it as gold and white. Now, what color did he see as gold? And what color did he see as white? Think about that. If he saw black as gold, that means he saw the blue as white. If he saw the black as white, that means he saw the blue as gold. Either way, how do they see us? If we are seen as black and they are associating black with different things, and we can go look it up, and I've discussed it before of how black and brown skin are perceived by white Americans, mostly, and white people in general, then how do they really perceive us when they look at us through their eyes? Because there's something spiritual going on. There's something spiritual going on. And some of you remember when I showed you that and everything. I can't remember what it, let me see if I can find it real fast. Let me see if I can find it. How is brown perceived by white Americans? See the color. Y'all give me a second. It was on I can't find it right now. I know where it's at. Hey, I think here it go. Here it go. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Brown can be considered a composite color, but is mainly a darker shade of orange. In the CMYK color model used in printing or painting, brown is usually made by combining orange and black. You know, when they're doing their thing. The color brown is seen widely in nature, wood, soil, human hair color, eye color, and skin pigmentation. Brown is the color of dark wood or rich soil. According to public opinion surveys in Europe and the United States, brown is the least favorite color of the public. It is often associated with plainness, the rustic, feces, and poverty. More positive associations include baking, warmth, wildlife, and the autumn. This is a study that they did. Don't get mad at me. Now going back to what we were looking at, let's go here.
But then a bunch of other people say, no, this is for sure a blue and black dress. The reason for the wide discrepancy in the color of this dress is because we all perceive color a little bit differently.
That's a very wide discrepancy. Very wide discrepancy. So again, if they're associating black with a completely different color, then that tells you that they are perceiving us in their eyes as completely different. How we see ourselves isn't how they see us. How you see yourself isn't how somebody else sees you. And then they have these preconceived notions on both sides, black and white, and they stick with that instead of accepting the truth. You gotta understand all this, because when they talk about white race and black race, that's all to cause confusion. That's why we break that stuff down and understand it through the lens and the eyes of God. Because we want the information comes in, but it has to be filtered through the brain, right? Who is the head? Christ.
And it has to do with our preconceived notions.
So
because of this fact here, I want to show you a cool experiment to show you that light can actually be black. Okay, so I've got here on my phone a pretty bright light. You can see I can illuminate things with it. So nobody would disagree that this is a white light. Okay, so here's my phone again. Let me show you how I can turn this white light into black light now. 3, 2, 1. What?
The light is still there. The light is still there. There's a light that is outshining this light that it looks like, hey, this light is not shining because this light is brighter, but it's still there. It looks dark. It looks dark. This is Christ. This is, you know, I'm going to say this is the devil. The light in him is dark, but it's still a form of light because he came from Christ. Now he's manipulating it and making himself look like he is this light. I love this stuff. I love true science.
What color do you see now? So now the phone looks completely black. But when I turn the background light off again, it's white.
This is why Christ said, let your light shine before men. He said that we are the light of the world. So what does the devil do? He can't. Let me go back. Christ is in heaven right now, right? This is us on the earth. We're shining. This is, in the world, the enemy and everything, they're dark. What do? They try to blend in with us by taking what we know. How do we get the light that we have? Through Christ, through the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding and love, all these different things that he's given us through the Spirit. So they take that and they apply it to themselves to make it seem like they're shining just as bright, if not brighter than us. And then when people that have darkness in them, they come around, they're like, oh, I'm going to go over here. Let's say there's another light over here. I'm going to go over here because, hey, these are the same. Or no, his light is shining brighter and, their light isn't shining as bright. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to go over here to the brighter light. And then they end up being deceived. And so when we, who have the true light, try to speak about the fake light over here, they don't listen to us. They don't listen to us. Because they're like, oh, well, you're not as bright as this over here, them over here. Your light is bright, but it ain't as bright as these over here. Not realizing that their light is not a true light, is darkness. Is darkness. And they are presenting themselves as us. As us.
The phone looks completely black, but when I turn the background light off again, it's white. So just by shifting the background light, you can turn white light actually into black light. So this isn't some kind of trick. I was keeping my screen at the same intensity whether I had the backlight on or not. And this would actually be the same result whether you're viewing it through the camera like you guys are doing, or whether you're just viewing it in real life like I'm doing. But because your eyes are a lot better than a camera at adjusting for backlight, you actually have to have the phone a lot dimmer for it to appear black. And what I just showed you may seem trivial, but it's actually a really important point. This means that black is actually a shade of white, or white is a shade of black. So black and white...
Did you hear that?
Black is actually a shade of white, or white is a shade of black. So black and white are actually just different shades of the same thing. And you already know this if you've ever watched a...
And what are the original people that God made on the earth? There's no such thing as what we call so-called white people. There isn't. And we know from the previous sermon that back in the day, black people were called white people. They were called the white race in comparison to the darker people. And I believe that was more so the Hamite lineage who were being described as the black race, in that sense, because the white race back then was, and still today they just don't tell you that, was and is the ruddy, the red race. And we saw that from the previous sermon. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go back and watch. I know it's long, but hey, this is why I speak that stuff. So when I do make these shorter sermons, they're like, oh yeah, you were just talking about that. Instead of you looking like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, going back to the sermon we did, where they were stating that about why they were saying they were calling the ruddy race the white race, because the vibrancy of the flesh, the vibrancy of the skin, like a skin and the complexion in its youthfulness, and then a deeper understanding of that is dealing with the spirit, Because when you're full of joy, you walk different, you talk different, you act different. Everything is different about you when you're full of joy in comparison to when you're depressed. It's all connected, y'all. It's all connected. That's why Christ told us, "Thy will be done in heaven as it is in earth."
movie on the big screen. Have you ever thought, how do they project black onto the screen? So let me use my little mini projector here to show you what I mean. So for example, in these parts that you see in this video that are black, are they really black or are they just less white? Well, let's test it and see. Okay, so on the screen I have what looks like a white background with a black dot in the middle. So is this black dot actually being projected on here? Well, look at this. So if I raise the exposure here, you can clearly see that this black is actually a light. See, when I block it with my hand, there's clearly a shadow in the center here.
What does that tell you about space? Space ain't really black. We perceive it as black, but it looks black because there's something behind it. There's something behind what we call space that is so bright that it makes what we call space appear black, because you know black is white, white is black, right? In regards to what we're talking about in colors and everything. That's why in the book of Revelation he talks about the heavens shall roll together as a scroll. It's going to be taken away, and then you're going to be able to see. You're going to be able to see. It's not going to be like this. Let's say this is space, and this is, in the third heaven. It's not going to be that veil where is having space that look like this. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be taken away. Because the closer you get to something, you're like, hold on now.
So this black is not so black. It just looks black compared to this brighter light back here. The same thing that we saw with my phone and the bright background. One more way to confirm this is to get my head right in the middle of the black and look into the light, and it's...
Now notice, this is what we call the white guy. He got in there. The white is still showing. You see that you get the different layers, depending on how the light reflects and stuff, refracts, however you want to put it. This is a shadow of him. A shadow of him. That tells you that space, when we look at it as black, it's a shadow of something. Just like you have his shadow right here, in front of it. This would be like space, and then like this is him on earth. Right? This is a shadow of the true thing, which would be himself. Himself. But it appears black right here. Then you get up on it, you really see what it is.
It's actually bright. I can see it. So here's what it looks like in the white. And then when I move into the black circle, here's what it looks like. So you can see that black is just less light. Here's the white, and here's the black. White, black, white.
And what does that mean in regards to us as people, especially us as blacks? What happens? We absorb it more. The pineal gland, all these different things, it reacts differently. Because remember, the pineal gland reacts to what? To light. Therefore, there's something spiritual going on. Something spiritual.
White, black. So you can clearly see that the difference between white and black is just how much light is there. So there's my proof for how white and black are different shades of the same color. But the problem is that white and black are not really colors, because white is just a combination of all the colors of light. Or said more correctly, white is just what our brain perceives when we see all of the colors of light at once. So this is why when you shine...
Let me go back real fast. Go back like right here. Hold on.
It's just how much light is there. So there's my...
Like I tell to you before, nobody is walking around looking like this. If you seen a person like this, their skin would really like this, and you look like this, you wouldn't even accept that. You like, okay, this is what we call a white person, right? He's not walking around looking like this. This, no black person, well, I'm gonna say no black person, but most black people ain't this dark. Like this border right here. Y'all been bamboozled. Bamboozled. You like associate one thing with something and then you don't even understand what you're talking about. Black being what we call black is deeper than skin color. Because I told you before, there are people, I think I brought them up before, but let me show you. Nick Wright and Chris. He's still his name. Broussard. I think that's French, Creole. Let me see. All right, these guys be on TV. They're sports analysts. Look at their complexion. Look at their complexion. If you had to choose which one is what we call a Negro, which one are you going to choose? You're going to choose him. Not Nick. Even though Nick, Nick got some people say we black in them because technically everybody got what we call quote unquote black in them. But Nick, he's married to a black woman and everything. But just on the surface, without all the extra stuff, you're gonna say, okay, yeah, this is a Negro. This is a Negro. You can make an argument and say, yeah, blase, but you're gonna choose him. Even though you can make an argument about their skin complexion, about who's darker. And yet you would still choose him as the Negro. What we call being black is deeper than skin complexion. It deals with skull structure and other things on the spiritual level. On the spiritual level, not just the physical level. All right, they mentioned orange, and we saw that earlier, right? We're not worried about the fruit, but we go down here and it tells us, my pointer, not used as a color word in English until 1510s. Orange color, a reddish yellow color like that of a ripe orange. A reddish yellow color. So y'all be picking up an orange, you think, oh yeah, it's not reddish. It's not reddish. But you forget they've been manipulating the fruit and the vegetables for all these years. Did you forget about that? There are many colors of carrots. When you go to the store, all you mostly see is what we call orange carrots. Orange carrots. You don't see purple carrots. Even though they exist naturally. Orange, a reddish yellow color. And we always see that when it comes to ruddy and different things. You see the reddish and yellow connection, just like blonde. Just like blonde. Most people think about blonde, they think about, a female, a white female with the blonde hair. But it tells you of a golden or light brown, golden brown color. Fair, blonde. Says yellow but of uncertain origin. You see? It even makes a connection with being gray haired, then to mix. A colorway between golden and light chestnut, which might account for the notion of mixed. And then it goes down and says, Old English, which meant dyed, so it is also possible that the root meaning of blonde, if it is Germanic, may be dyed, as ancient Teutonic warriors were noted for dyeing their hair. Du Chan, however you pronounce his name, however, writes that blondus was a vulgar pronunciation of Latin flavus, yellow. Another guess, discounted by German etymologists, is that it represents a vulgar Latin abundance from alba, which is white. It makes sense to me once you understand what's really going on. Because even we look at the word albino, and albinism is in the Bible, a person of pale, milky complexion with light hair and pink eyes. This is just a generic understanding of it. But it comes from the Latin albus. Just because a person doesn't have light hair or those pink eyes doesn't mean that they aren't a albino, or what we call an albino. And then you go look at it and it means white. White. It all depends on the context. It tells you right here, white leprosy. Albinism is in the Bible. Albinism is in the Bible. And if a person is what we call albino, what were they originally? They were black. And black means white. Because you have an understanding of white, what white means when you're referring to what we call quote unquote black people. Again, we discussed it a few minutes ago, and we also discussed that in more detail in our previous video. I don't want you to get confused. Now we go over here to the scriptures, and I'm going to read a few of these, and we'll get ready to close it out. Would to God you could bear with me a little of my folly, and indeed bear with me, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ. For if he that cometh preaches another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him. This is how they coming. They come and preaching another Jesus, another gospel. But it's not really another gospel. It's a perversion of the true gospel. It's a perversion of the true light. Presenting it as the true light when it's really not. It's darkness. But it looks like light, because where did they get it from? They got it from the light. That's why Christ told you what he told you. For I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles. But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, but we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. That's why I preach so much, so you can see who I am. Have I committed an offense in abasing myself that ye might be exalted, because I have preached to you the gospel of God freely? I robbed other churches, taking wages of them to do you service. It's a deep scripture right there. And when I was present with you and wanted, I was chargeable to no man. For that which was lacking, to me the brethren which came from Macedonia supplied. Like, hey, I didn't come to y'all and ask you for this and ask you for that, even though, I did have needs. There was brothers that had already helped me out. And in all things I have kept myself from being burdensome unto you, and so will I keep myself. He didn't come begging. If they gave, they gave. They didn't, they didn't. He was trusting in the Lord. As the truth of Christ is in me, no man shall stop me of this boasting in the regions of Achaia. Because they were trying to, hey, we gave you this and we gave you that. And he didn't want it to be like that. Like, okay, you're not going to stop me from the thing that I'm speaking about because of what you said you did or whatnot. Wherefore, because I love you not, God knoweth. But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which is thy occasion, that wherein they glory they may be found even as we. For such are false apostles. So the things he was speaking about was to expose those who were trying to come against him and say all these crazy things about him. That wasn't true. He's telling you that they are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ, right? And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of what? Of light. But he's really a what? An angel of darkness. You see that? That's why Christ was telling what he was telling you. That's how white can be black and black can be white. Because it's coming from a central source. You just have to be able to understand what level we talking about. We talking about like the color white, the color black. We talking about skin complexion. We talking about in the spiritual sense, the physical sense. And we talking about in the physical sense, what perspective we talking about? Like these letters on the page or skin color. We talking about in the spiritual sense, what are we talking about? With our eyes being closed and us not being able to see spiritually, or our spiritual eyes being open and we being able to see what's really going on in the spirit. What are we talking about? We talking about the spiritual body of these different beings? What are we talking about? You have to be able to discern, what's going on. And the problem is a lot of people, they can't. Some people are confused. Like he just said white and he's black. And so, that means that black people came from white people and everything. Like, slow your roll and digest it. You're trying to eat your food too fast. You don't even know the flavors in it. You ain't tasting the flavors. I say again, let no man think me a fool, if otherwise, yet as a fool receive me, that I may boast myself a little. We know the original man is what we call ruddy, red. We call what we today call black overall. We know that. And we see and we saw the descriptions of red man, Adam, being described as the white race. Why? Because they were comparing them and saying they were white in that sense in comparison to the darker ones that they call black, the black race. I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and would pervert the gospel of Christ. Exactly what we were just talking about. But though we or an angel from heavens, this includes me. If I'm preaching another gospel that's a perversion, then you're supposed to get away from me. Preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we said before, so say I now again. If any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. For do I now persuade men or God? So I don't really care what people say in regards to what I'm preaching, because I know what I'm preaching is the truth. I'm not leading people to myself. I'm pointing people to Christ. I'm pointing people to the scriptures. And if I am pointing people to myself, I'm pointing them to Christ who is in me. Or do I seek to please men? I'm not here to please men. I'm not here to please those that since we just talked about it, that worship Darby, idolize Darby like he could do no wrong. Like he could do no wrong. Like it's impossible for, even if he was legit, for him to do no wrong. Show me that in the word. Show me that in the word where it's impossible for somebody that's legit to do no wrong. You show me that in the word and I'll show you a liar. Because I know as a believer I've done wrong. My flesh has done wrong because I'm walking in the flesh. And anybody that's honest, they will admit the same thing. For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ. That's why I say I don't care. I'm here to be a servant of Christ and please God. And in the pleasing of God, then I can please those that also want to please God by doing the right thing and saying the right thing in righteousness. No matter what somebody says about me or whatever, I don't really care. I care to a certain extent because I'm in this flesh, but at the end of the day, my spirit is too strong for that. My spirit has been strengthened to be able to endure these things through the very one that I preach about every day, the Lord Jesus Christ. But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man. For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Jesus Christ. Amen. I can attest to that. For ye have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God and wasted it, and profited in the Jews' religion above many my equals in my own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my fathers. But when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace to reveal his Son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood. I didn't go ask any man, do I need to be a preacher or a pastor or a prophet. God told me to go forth and do this, and I did. Neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me, but I went into Arabia and returned again unto Damascus. Then after 3 years I went up to Jerusalem to see Peter, and abode with him 15 days. But other of the apostles saw I none, save James the Lord's brother. Now the things which I write unto you, behold, before God I lie not. Afterwards I came into the regions of Syria and Cilicia, and was unknown by face unto the churches of Judea which were in Christ. But they had heard only that he which persecuted us in times past now preacheth the faith which once he destroyed. And they glorified God in me. They didn't glorify him, they glorified God in him. So don't glorify me, glorify God who is in me. That empowers me to speak the things that I've been blessed to speak. And that because of false brethrens or unawares brought in, who came in privily to spy out our liberty which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage. This is what's going on. They're coming as a light. They're coming as Christians. They're coming as Hebrews. They're coming as Hebrew Israelites. Because we know we were the oracles, and we still are the oracles of God, right? But they are false brethren coming in so they might try to bring you into bondage. To whom we gave place to subjection, no, not for an hour. You see that? I go by the scriptures. I go by the word of God. I don't play no games with them. Because I know what they're doing. I know what they're up to. I expose their asses. Because that's what they are. They're asses. They're beasts. And why are we supposed to expose them and not give them place? That the truth of the gospel might continue with you. But of these who seem to be somewhat whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. I don't care what title they claiming. I don't care how many views and subscribers they got. Whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. God accepteth no man's persons. For they who seem to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me. Y'all exalting these people and you're like, they ain't preaching nothing that I ain't preaching. They didn't add nothing to me that was of value. I've been telling y'all stuff that they ain't telling you. But you coming at me like I'm the enemy. But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter, for he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentiles. So he said, okay, they didn't add anything to me, but in actuality, contrariwise, when they saw the position I had been given and the authority I had been given, they was coming to me. But y'all defending them. They're not telling you about the mark of the beast, are they? They're not breaking it down like that. And that's end times prophecy. That's a major biblical end times prophecy. Show me them same people y'all bringing up and you exalting that got a whole playlist and years of sermons on that topic. I'm talking about going in on it. I ain't talking about just touching on it because they got it from somebody else. Because I know where they got it from. Go show me. Show me. Because we living in the end times, right? Yeah, you can go into Old Testament and speak a lot of stuff. I do that. A lot of people do that. But show me that. Where they're adding something and increasing your faith in the word in regard to prophetic end times things. Like the mark of the beast, which is a major end times biblical prophecy. And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, and they unto the circumcision. Only they would that we should remember the poor, the same which I also was for to do. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. Does it mean that Peter was fake? No, Peter just got involved in some stuff that he should not have been involved with. And and the Apostle Paul checked him on it, as he should have. Y'all out of pocket. Even if Stephen Darby is legit, and I'm bringing him up because I just made a video on him, obviously. Even if he was legit, he was wrong in what he was doing, and I have every right with the position I'm in to check him for what he was doing. And that's what I did. And what God did is what God did. Y'all have a problem with the word of God because you're not following the word of God. You're not following the word of God. You're following idolatry. The spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. Y'all don't profess to be prophets, so stay in your lane. That we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. If you're lying in wait to deceive, that means you planned it. You're lying in wait to deceive somebody with false doctrine and present it as this glorious light, this glorious revelation, when you know dang well that's not the case. This is what's going on. That ye may approve things that are excellent, that ye may be sincere and without offense to the day of Christ, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Jesus Christ, unto the glory and praise of God. But I would ye should understand, brethren, that the things which happened unto me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel, so that my bonds in Christ are manifest in all the palace and in all other places. And many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Don't be mad or sad at the things that you see me go through. I want my bonds in Christ to be manifested. So what? So that you could wax confident by what I've gone through and then be much more bold to speak the word, to speak the gospel, to speak the truth without fear. Because like, oh, Brother King, he was going through all this and going through all that, and he's still holding on to the faith. So then the just shall live by faith, from faith to faith, right? Some indeed preach Christ even of envy and strife, and some also goodwill. You see that? A person can be preaching the true gospel, but they're preaching it from the flesh. Envy and strife, or what? Are fruit of the flesh in the context he's speaking about. A person can be preaching the true gospel, but be preaching it from the flesh, and they themselves not be legit. Oh, they speaking so much knowledge and wisdom, they speaking the true gospel. But eventually they get exposed that the gospel is not truly in them. The one preached Christ of contention, what? Not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds. They're only preaching it to come against the true believers. Because they don't like a certain person. And they feel like they can do it better. And y'all get mixed up in that and you go side with them, only exposing yourself for who you really are. I ain't competing with nobody when it comes to preaching the gospel. I'm going to do my thing in the Lord. And I'm going to be great in it. And if I'm competing with you, iron sharpens iron, so we can both be great. But the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then? Notwithstanding, every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and I therein do rejoice, yea, and I will rejoice. He said, I don't want to rejoice, but I'm still going to rejoice. That's why he said that. He emphasized it. Because, hey, the gospel is still getting around. And that's why certain people, I leave them alone. I'm like, well, hey, they false. You can't say they false, then, hey. But they preaching the real gospel. They preaching the true gospel. Doesn't mean that they are true. But let's look at the word pretense real fast. Pretense. Let me copy it. So let me see. Let's bring it up. They're preaching it in pretense. Did I spell it right? Probably like that. Let me see. It's spelled with a C, but I think. Yeah. pretense, same thing. Also pretense. Let me see if it comes up differently. It'll give me the same thing. Okay. So we type in pretense with a C, a false show, false profession. Going back, whether in a false show, a false profession, or in truth, Christ is preached. I told you I got the word. I got ammo for days. I'm gonna give you the word. Imitating. They're presenting themselves as legit. Feigning, false show, hypocrisy. Like, resembling, of the same kind. Oh, I'm a believer like you are. So again, whether in pretense, whether in hypocrisy or in truth, Christ is preached. And I therein do rejoice, yea, and will rejoice. Because nobody really wants to rejoice because the gospel is being preached by some fake pretenders. But hey, the gospel is still being preached. And if they are who they say they are, then eventually they will see that person for who they really are. Meaning, this fake person that's preaching the real gospel, but they're still leading people astray. That's why I tell y'all, you be like, oh, how can this happen? The word already tells you this. And then people try to correct me and check me like I don't know what I'm talking about. They go right there. Here it go. You better come correct. And this I say, lest any man should beguile you with what? With enticing words. For though I be absent in the flesh, yet I am with you in the spirit, joying in beholding your order and the steadfastness of your faith in Christ. What's the opposite of that? When you wavering and you being double-minded, that's not joy. That's not joy. As ye have therefore received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk ye in him. Rooted. How deep you want to go? Rooted and built up. Because the roots go down and the tree goes up. And built up in him and established in the faith, in the word. Because he is the word, right? As ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. What we're reading right now, this is the DNA of Christ. This is the DNA of God that we're eating and drinking. Beware lest any man spoil you, rob you, rob. Let's get it. I should just leave this. Did I leave it up? Yeah, I did. I might as well just leave it up since I be coming here so much. Spoil, lest they strip you of your clothes, of your glory, right? They plunder you, they pillage you, they uncover you, they lay you bare, they rob you, they take arms from you, they take the booty, meaning your treasure and stuff like that. They skin you, they split you, they break you off, they strip you with violence, right? Through what? Through philosophy, through wisdom. They're not giving you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so that you can have treasure. They're bringing you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so they can rob your ass. Because when they see you you just a beast. You just a beast. You just an ass. And what? In vain deceit. I warn you about this over and 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 over again. But I don't know what I'm talking about. If you saying that I don't know what I'm talking about, that means you saying the word don't know that the word doesn't know what the word is talking about. Because I'm giving you the word. I just put it in plain speech. After the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and ye are complete in him, which is the head. Remember we talk about the eyes and the head and the brain and everything? Of all principality and power, in whom also you are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, your soul and spirit being circumcised from your flesh, and putting off the body, I'm telling you right there, putting off the body of the sins of the flesh by the what? By the circumcision of Christ. Buried with him in baptism, wherein also ye are risen with him through the faith of the operation of God, who hath raised him from the dead. Because Christ believed that he was going to be raised from the dead, because his Father told him, this is what I'm going to do. And we also believe, just as Christ was raised from the dead, that we too have been raised from the dead. We're just waiting for our new glorified bodies. And you, being dead in your sins and the uncircumcision of your flesh, hath he quickened together with him, having forgiven all your trespasses through the gospel, right? Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross. Therefore, when you are nailed to the cross with Christ, you die with Christ. So all the ordinances, the handwriting of ordinances, which is the Old Testament law that was against you, is on the cross, nailed to your flesh. But you are no longer your flesh, because you die with Christ, and then you're resurrected from the dead. And having spoiled principalities and powers, he made a show of them openly, triumphing over them in it. And we do the same thing. We make a show of them openly by walking in the newness of the Spirit, triumphing over them in it, in that victory. We spoiled them. We robbed them. We took back what was rightfully ours from the beginning. And their word will eat as doth a canker, of whom is Hymenaeus and Philetus, who concerning the truth have erred, saying that the resurrection is past already, and overthrow the faith of some. Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal. The Lord knoweth them, having this seal, the seal of the Holy Spirit. The Lord knoweth them that are his, and let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, from the word, from Christ, from the true Christ, and shall be turned unto fables. But they still present themselves as having the truth in them. And we got a few more. But there were false prophets also where among the people, even as there shall be false teachers where among you. If they are among you, then what are they doing? They looking like you. They speaking like you. They're saying biblical things, but they themselves are not legit. Who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Bring upon themselves what? Swift destruction. But I don't know what I'm talking about, though. I'm wrong for saying the stuff that I say. And many shall follow their pernicious ways. Over 200 something subscribers. And leading people astray, and got people still bedazzled after you're dead and gone, and think I ain't supposed to say nothing. By reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. Play with it. For many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist, and it's deeper than that. Look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ have not God. They say it, but they don't abide in it. At one point in time, they say, yeah, Christ come in the flesh, but they don't really believe it. They don't abide in it. The word tells you that even the demons believe that God is real. Even demons believe in God, but they can't repent. They know that God is real. They know that Christ is real. Christ told them to shut up. Don't say nothing. Don't Go tell nobody. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Son and the Father. Excuse me, he hath both the Father and the Son. If there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house. What is your house? Your temple, your body. Neither bid him Godspeed. Don't let him in your heart. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. It's just as if you're doing it. They went what? Out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. They wouldn't have went off and got into witchcraft and manipulating people. They would have stayed in the truth. They would have persevered when things got hard. They would have persevered when the money was looking funny. They would have persevered when, you know what I'm saying, the donations and stuff weren't coming in like they used to. They would have still preached, and they wouldn't have start doing stuff to manipulate the people to get money. They wouldn't have did that. They would have continued in the ways of righteousness because they truly trust in the Lord. But they went out from the truth. They went into witchcraft. They went into manipulation that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. They were never truly of us in the beginning. Because if they were, they would have continued and not started to do this foolishness. Or I should say, continue in that foolishness of manipulating the word to get money, of manipulating the people to get money. But continue to trust in the Lord. The Lord he gonna provide like he said he was. I did that already. When I was in the world, when I was making and selling counterfeit money. I'm free from that. So when I see people doing it, I know they're doing it because I used to do it. If I wasn't free from it, I would still be manipulating people to get money. I will be paid for ministry. Now I'm paid for ministry because the Lord blessed me. I got real estate and stuff like that. But that was the Lord. And it was gained in righteousness. It wasn't gained by manipulating people. But if I was out here manipulating people, I would be paid. Because I will be a master of it. A master manipulator. I'm going to tell you everything you want to hear. The people will love me. This is why I be warning y'all about this stuff. This is why, for me, my testimony is so powerful. Because I understand it so much when it comes to them presenting themselves as the real thing, but they are counterfeit. The purpose of a counterfeit is so it can pass for the real thing. Not so somebody can give it to you, you can laugh, and you can like, man, come on, what is this? This is a joke? I tell you these things, but y'all still want to try to make me like I'm the bad guy or the enemy, you know what I'm saying, hating on somebody. What I got to hate for? Tell me what do I have to hate for? I got my own wife. I got my own children. I got several businesses. If you want to talk about that, I own real estate. So what do I have to hate on? Because somebody got more subscribers than me? Now, I eat good over here. Y'all be seeing what I be posting on Facebook. Y'all know how I eat. I eat good. What do I have to hate on? I got true brothers and sisters in Christ that love me in Christ. And they support me because of that love. Not because I'm manipulating them. And I support them because I love them in Christ. Not because they're manipulating me. We have no reason to hate on each other. We support each other. We love each other. We're there for one another. If they can't do something, guess what? I'm there. If I can't do something, hey, they're there. If I'm going to hate on somebody, I'm going to hate because I have a reason to hate. Not because of some bull job. I can get money. Check my resume. If I want to manipulate people to get money, I could do that. Check my resume. But you don't see me doing that. You don't see me manipulating people to get money. You don't see me manipulating tithing verses. I'm breaking the verses down that they're using to manipulate people to get money. Why would I do that? Because that's going to hurt me. Then you're going to be like, hold on, now that's what you doing. But no, I'm the bad guy. Okay, I'll be that. Because I don't care. God is going to make it known. The Most High is going to make it known and show who is who. And I know who I am. I know what I've been freed from. All sin. All unrighteousness. But with that being said, God bless each and every one of you in Jesus Christ's name. As always, stay focused for Jesus. As you know, the truth is not debated, it is declared. And they are presenting themselves as light. Because as you just saw, darkness, Christ himself said it, darkness can be light because it's coming from light and it's manipulating itself to be presented as something that it's not necessarily. It's a form of it, but it's not the true thing. It's a manipulation of it. Their darkness that they're presenting as light is not the true light. It's darkness. It's going to lead you to darkness. It's going to ultimately lead you to hell.